Welcome to the Summers Woodworking Show. This is Season 4, Episode 5, and tonight we're going to be talking about what's your favorite tool, what do you make with them, and all kinds of stuff about it. So we'll go from there. We'll start with roll call, and I'll start with Chris. You want to tell people who you are?
Hey guys, Chris Ahern here from the Old Cranky Workshop. You'll find me on Facebook under the Old Cranky Workshop, and you can find me on YouTube under Chris the Wheeler. I do anything from pieces of furniture to working on an old house to making beer cups. And a little bit of everything. So that's all I do.
Okay. And David, you're next.
My name's David with DLG Woodwork. You can find me on YouTube, DLG Woodwork.
Hold on. Is everybody seeing David up in the top screen? I'm having a hard time.
Is that a yes? Donald shook his head, yes.
Okay.
Yep, Shane shaking his head.
On my end, I just have a thumbnail. It's stuck on Chris.
DLG Woodwork on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. I'm not very active on Facebook, but I do various woodworking things, and also been doing a lot of Lumilite casting here recently.
Okay. And where can they find you?
DLGwoodwork.com, or just find me on YouTube, DLG Woodwork on the YouTube.
Okay. And David, not David, but Donald. Today's a long day.
I'm Donald Matthews. My YouTube channel is Donald Vlogifies Woodshop. All my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook there on that channel. And I got a website, redneckknowhow.com. And that's me.
And they used to find you in the dark. Now you're in the light.
I'm no longer a floating head. For the time being, anyway, till I get tired and take down the white stuff on my wall.
Yeah. Okay, now we got Russ Meadows.
Hey everybody, Russ Meadows here. You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram under my name or Rusty Nails Woodshop. Either one of those will catch me.
How come the nails are rusty, Russ?
Well, you don't use them.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Clarity Santa Claus.
I'm Russ Clarity with Simply Wooden Creations. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, pretty well all the social media under Simply Wooden Creations.
And I know where else you can find him.
Yep.
Under the Christmas tree.
Oh no, on the
25th.
actually I'm probably on the dark side or the orange side.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm on the orange side according to Donald.
Would you like to elaborate?
Well, yeah, I'd like to elaborate because here, I know it's live, but here I'll screen share. Somebody, and I won't mention any names, decided to post this. Don't underestimate the power of the orange side. Yeah.
So is that a new CNC?
That one there is that's Dave Gatton's CNC. But yes, I do have a CNC.
Oh, nice.
That's my new screensaver picture.
Yeah,
That was just rude of somebody to steal your pictures like that.
Yeah, I made a trip to Georgia. He lives in McDonald, or he says some people say McDonough, but McDonough or McDonald, Georgia. And I went up to Dave's house, and I got there Monday afternoon, spent Monday afternoon, Tuesday, and then left out and came home Wednesday, and brought me home a Garage Works CNC. So I'm very happy. I'm a happy camper. I got the 24 by 36 I can't say enough about Dave Gatton. He's a gracious host. Had a great time there. Not only was it beneficial for me to drive up there to get it, but I spent all day Monday afternoon and then all day Tuesday with Dave, and he taught me how to use all the software, how to use the
that's
machine,
nice.
how it works, and yeah, so I got on-job training from I got there about 1 o'clock on Monday, and so we worked with it all Monday afternoon into the night, and then all day Tuesday. So
No
yeah,
better place to get training than somebody that makes them, you know.
you ain't kidding, because nobody. I mean, you can buy one, and it's one thing to watch YouTube videos or watch all the training videos you can want, but when you have somebody right there to show you and tell you how to do it, all the difference in the world.
Yeah, you also get the pro technique behind it all.
Yeah. So I tell you what, I am very. Dave Gatton is a smart man. He is. I always knew he was smart. I actually got to see his smartness.
Yeah. We got Robert Evans in the chat. He's wanting to tell everybody on the panel hello, and he also wants to tell you, Russ, welcome to the orange side.
Yeah. Well, trust me, I'm waiting. I was hoping today that the last of the stuff would come in so I could actually have it running this afternoon, but I'm waiting for the backlash bushings and the couplings to get the lead screw set up. Other than that, I got the control box. I'm ready. I'm waiting for these 8 little pieces of plastic to come in and put them on there to make it run.
Cool. I hope
What's
you
the
do
first
a live event when you get it first running. That'd be cool.
I might try that. I do have live events on Facebook and everything. I might do that.
Cool. Well, let's get on over here to Shane, man. He's dying to tell y'all who he is.
I was wondering if y'all was going to get to me or not. Now, my name is Shane. I'm with Shane's Hobby Shop. You can find me on all your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that, under Shane's Hobby Shop. The video I just recently put out, I actually did a Wood by Rights challenge, which he's doing a tool swap, a hand tool swap, and I just completed that and just put that video out, so tomorrow I'll be mailing that off to him.
What did you make?
I actually made me a mallet. I got different colored wood all in the mallet, including the handle, and on one side of the mallet is a metal plate that helps you bang you a little bit harder.
Okay, cool. Robert Evans is saying, Shane, what's for dinner?
Actually, I just ate dinner. I had me a big old burger. I made some hamburger meat a while back. I did that on Mom's channel. I made hamburger meat with some bacon in it. I just made me a burger and fries a while ago, and it was good.
That sounds good. Well, let's see here. Who wants to start off? What's your favorite tool in the shop? Any givers?
I'll start it off.
All righty.
At this present time, my favorite tool is my scroll saw, because it's the one I'm using the most. At a later date, it's going to be on the back burner, and I'm going to have it safety orange, just like the other Russ. You're going to see it at my house, and I'll have me a CNC, and I'll be using that quite a bit. But right now, it's my scroll saw.
How much does one of those cost, guys?
It depends. It depends on.
Well, I know what you want, but
Yeah.
I know you guys are just entry level. So
Right.
what did it cost you, Russ?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Yeah, I
We got a discount.
do.
If you're looking at the total package, you're probably looking at about $2,600.
That's not too bad.
Software and everything, right?
Yeah, but yeah, that includes because you got to look at
Right.
you're gonna have
That's not bad at all because
It's not.
something of that quality, you're looking about $3 to $4 grand easy just to start out.
you're looking at not only the cost of the machine that Dave Gatton provides, which is I believe the 24 by 36 is $800 if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So you're looking at, you've got to have the control box, the motors, the lead screws, the bushings, when you start all that up. And the next biggest thing that's the most expensive is what software you want to use. And the big VCar Pro is $699.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you've got to have Mach 3 to run the machine, or you could get something. There's a lot of free stuff out here, but Mach 3 is another $200. So, but my point is there's a lot of free stuff out there that might get the job done or whatever. And Dave and I talked about that just a little bit, and I watched him use. Matter of fact, like I said, I watched him use the VCarve Pro and the Mach 3. It's so easy to make this thing work with those two softwares. I think you would be foolish, in all sincerity, if you are really serious about getting one and making it working and trying to make something with it and use it as a tool in your woodworking shop, you'd be foolish not to get that.
Is that the one you're going to use, the VCarve Pro?
Yes, I've got VCarve Pro and Mach 3.
Okay. I was looking at VCarve Pro or the Cut 2D, because that's what I use. That's the kind of stuff I make, is the 2D stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but when you step up to the point that the VCarve Pro, it opens up so many more avenues. You're not, you're not limited as to what you can do. You're pretty well. The next one now is Aspire, which is about $2,000.
Yeah, it's $2,000.
Yeah.
That's beyond me pocketbook.
But VCarve Pro will do anything for what I want. I mean,
funny, his name is $2,000 because it sounds $2,000.
Yeah,
it's not $2,000.
Yeah, but VCarve Pro will actually do 3-dimensional. I mean, I've seen it, and I'm like, oh wow, this is like. But I mean, you know, there's limits as to what I can spend and everything, and so it's like. Now, supposedly, and I was going to go for VCarve Desktop. Now, they say the only difference between VCarve Desktop and VCarve Pro is VCarve Desktop limits you to 24 by 24. Anything over 24 inches by 24 inches, you have to go to Pro to be able to make. Mm-hmm. But I downloaded and used it, and I downloaded the trial version of Pro. There's a difference. I don't care what they say.
24 by 24, that's still pretty damn big.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but when you want to do doors or custom tabletops.
Well, yeah.
Well, the advantage of, now I don't know if y'all know about totally about a CNC machine, but all right, mine is 36, so mine will do 36 inches wide on, I guess it's the X-axis or whatever. Yeah. All right, so it's this way, and 24 inches deep. So I could actually make a sign 36 inches wide, but you're not limited to 24 inches deep.
Oh, no. It's ongoing.
No, because you can actually set the machine to go to a certain point and stop, and now you pull the material, which is 36 inches wide, forward and restart the machine, and it's capable of keep on cutting. So I'm limited to 36 inches wide, but I could cut a sign 36 inches by or 3 foot by 6 foot if I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, as deep as you want, as long as you want to keep moving it.
Yeah, I just have to keep moving it. You have to set it up to the point that it comes to a point where you stop it and move it, and I'm not that good yet. I hope to be able to do it, but my point is so you're only limited to 36 inches wide. Right. You're not limited to you can make it 36 inches by 20 foot if you have the resources to be able to stabilize the material and pull it through and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah. Right. Okay, back to Meadows. So your favorite tool is the scroll saw.
Right, that's the one I started with.
Okay, so what kind of projects, I know scroll saw projects, but what kind of projects do you mainly do?
I started out doing portraits of people. They're taking their pictures and cutting a portrait out of it. And that's the very first thing I ever did was I cut a portrait of my brother. and just to see if I could do it, because I had seen some on Etsy, and I thought, well, I could probably do that. So I bought me a Harbor Freight scroll saw just to try it out, and I cut one of my brother, and I sent a picture of it to him, and he told me, man, I don't even look good in wood. I told him, you sure don't. But I've taken it from there. I still do a lot of portrait work, but I make crosses and all kinds of other little decorative items like that with that scroll saw. But I've moved up to a DeWalt now, though.
Okay.
That's what I prefer. And as soon as I get that CNC, that's going to be another set of hands, because I can't keep up with the crosses that I've got in this area. There's just so many people. I think I'm done, and then 4 more pop up wanting something. So
Yeah.
I need another set of hands, and that's what that CNC is going to be.
Do you do
Hopefully.
this stuff for hobby, or do you make money at it?
I make money with them. I sell a lot of it, and I do give some stuff away. Sometimes I'll do a portrait and give it away. Sometimes I'll do a portrait and charge for it. It just depends on the situation. But I sell the vast majority of what I make.
So do you got any advice for somebody that's getting into scroll sawing? What should they do to get started?
Best one to ask about that is that other Russ. That one that guy that's down here. Everything I know.
This is your spotlight now.
Everything I know I've learned from him. And
Yeah.
Russ must follow the path of Russ to the orange side.
Pretty soon you're going to do me one up in orange. I see it,
But no, seriously, what would you tell somebody if they asked you, hey, man, I'm into the scroll saw work because it looks kind of nice. What should I do? What should I get?
It depends. For me, it depends on what you're actually wanting to do with it. Like I said, when I started with that Harbor Freight scroll saw, and don't get me wrong, it was a nice scroll saw, but you know, it took pen blades, and it took the non-pins with an adapter, and I broke a blade one day, and the adapter that was attached to it flew, and it's been months now, and I've never found it yet. It's in
I've never changed to that adapter yet.
When that blade broke, the top adapter stayed on the machine, and the bottom one that was attached to that blade, when it flew, the adapter went with it. And like I said, it's been several months, and I've not found it yet. I've run a magnet all over my shop trying to find that doggone thing, and I got tired, and I just took that Harbor Freight machine and put it to the street. And I went and bought me a DeWalt, and I've been using that ever since. But if somebody was to ask me, I'd first ask them, what they want to do with the machine. Because a lot of it depends on what they want to do with it, as to what to get, and what kind of blades and all that kind of stuff. So it just depends basically on what they want.
Yeah.
And all the answers come from what they want to do. So.
Okay, so who is? I know Russ is your mentor.
He's my I always call him Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But is there anybody above the other Russ that you would turn to?
Charles. But between the two of them, I've learned a lot. Basically, like I said, the first thing I ever did, I did all by myself. And then I got somebody, Mark Stallings, I believe it was, got me into the groups and stuff. And then I picked it up from there.
Okay.
And stuff. So him and Charles Deering are basically, if I have a question, that's who I go to.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Russ, clarity. What's your favorite tool, man?
All sincerity, I don't have a favorite tool.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, I love my scroll saw and everything else, but I need so much in order to make my scroll saw work that, I don't have. I mean, if
You
I had
know,
the listing,
I think the camera's your favorite tool.
yeah. No, I mean, I love the scroll saw, and
Lights.
the one thing that I
Cop-out.
love about the scroll saw is when I sit down and I actually do scroll sawing, it's relaxing to me. I can be tensed, I can be upset, I can be mad. I can sit down and start scrolling within a matter of minutes. It's just like it lets it all out, and I'm concentrating on cutting. It's very relaxing to me. But in order to make the scroll saw work, now what you have to understand is I do my own millings to a point. I buy 4/4 wood, so it's 1 inch thick, and I have a bandsaw. I make my own, so I have a joiner, a planer, all those other kind of things. And so there's a lot involved that makes the scroll saw or me being able to scroll saw. So therefore, I mean, I would have to buy the wood offline, and it would cost me more money, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's like I love. If you wanted to say the scroll saw would be the first on the list of tools, and then all the others would fall underneath it for that way. But as far as my favorite tool, I love all the tools.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, because and the most used, I'll tell you, be honest with you, the most used tool that I have is my, more so than my scroll saw, is my sliding miter, DeWalt sliding miter scroll saw, or
Compound miter saw.
compound miter saw. I use that more than any other thing in the whole shop.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll cut 12 inches wide. So I mean, anything that I want to cut to length or whatever to start off with, 99.9% of the time goes straight to that saw to be able to cut before I ever put it on the table saw, before I ever put it in the bandsaw, before I ever put it in the planer, before I ever put it anyway. I start right there at that saw. So that's the most used saw in my shop, is that one.
Okay, so if somebody came and robbed you, what's the first tool you'd go out and buy?
First tool I'd what?
Go out and buy. If you got totally robbed, there's nothing in your shop, what would be the first tool you go out and buy?
A better security system, because they shouldn't have robbed me in the first place.
I mean a tool. Come on. Work with me.
It would probably be it would be one of two. It'd either be the scroll saw, or because I'd probably be the scroll saw, because I could actually buy material online to be able to scroll.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, next question is, what do you make with it?
Oh, I made crosses and portraits and signs and plaques and pretty well anything. I mean, all the above. Anything that you can make on a scroll. I made compound stuff with it. Dolphins, and I entered your scroll saw or your 2x4 contest and did a. It wasn't
3D art.
Yeah, so
Should have won.
You
should have won.
do what?
Should have won.
Yeah, I made so much stuff with it. I have literally. I always try, when I first started doing this, I said everything that I make, the first one I'm going to save. Right? I'm going to save it, and then everything else I'll sell. I have literally boxes upon boxes to the point that my shop is so overloaded with that crap that I had to say, time out, I can't do this anymore. If I save one of everything I make, I won't be able to store it all because I won't have a place to be able to scroll anymore. So I pretty well abandoned that. But I have I've got probably some of the biggest totes. So they've got to be at least 16, 18 inches wide, 2 or 3 foot long. Some of the biggest totes that you can buy at Home Depot or Walmart. I've probably got 10 or 12 of those slap full of scroll saw stuff that I have just kept because they're the first ones of everything that I've done that I said I was going to keep. So, and I found out that I can't do that anymore. So, but yeah, if I was to lose everything tomorrow, the first thing that I would buy would be my scroll saw, yeah. And the second thing would be the sliding compound miter saw.
Yeah,
Okay.
collecting scroll saw work ain't quite like collecting comic books.
No.
Now, the other question is, when you got a problem or if you want to try to figure something out, who's your go-to guy?
Donald.
No, I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No,
Okay.
I usually either figure it out on my own or I watch YouTube.
Okay, so YouTube's your
Yeah,
inspiration, so to speak?
I would say if I can't figure it out on my own, if you go on YouTube and type in something that you need to know from, hey, I fixed my own air conditioner in my truck by typing in YouTube. So I would say if I can't fix it on my own, I don't have really a go-to guy. My go-to guy would have been my father, but he's long gone, so I would type it into YouTube.
Okay,
Donald.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, Shane, what's your favorite tool?
Well, it's kind of a iffy bit. Right now, it's my table saw. About 7 months ago, I bought a Delta table saw, and I really love that thing. But hopefully, if everything goes as planned, which I think works, but I'm going to buy me a DeWalt planer next month. So I'm hoping that's going to be my new favorite toy to play with. So, yeah, but right now I would say it is the table saw. The table saw is actually pretty fun.
Okay, and what do you make with it?
Well, basically everything. Actually, I'm fixing to start getting into building outside furniture. I made something for Mom for in the house here, but I'm actually fixing to start building some outside furniture, like tables and stuff like that. So I go in between, like with Russ, I go between the table saw and my miter saw. I got a little miter saw. It's not a sliding miter saw, but it works pretty good. I just now bought a laser light for it, and that laser light's dead on accurate. I like that. So I'm going to be jumping around from the table saw to miter saw and maybe even do some bandsaw work. And I'm going to be making a bunch of outside furniture here shortly.
Oh, that's cool.
Hopefully, when I get my planer, I'm also going to go and get some cedar wood and make some Adirondack chairs.
So, who would be the person that you would look up to on how to build things?
Actually, it's a guy, he has a YouTube channel. It's John Peters, Art and Home. I'm learning a bunch of stuff from him. He is a really good guy. If you haven't seen his channel yet, go check him out. He's, like I said, John Peters, Art and Home. He does woodworking. He does art. He's even doing the bees right now. Him and his son have got the beehives going. So I think this is like their second year into bees. So it's been pretty cool. I like it.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's see here.
And got a question for you real quick, Brian. I know you're doing that birdhouse challenge. When is that going to come up? You know?
When I quit putting out fires. Hey, I haven't even had a chance to announce it yet, and I haven't even had time to get a hold of sponsors for it. So.
Well, my neighbor is real anxious because she came to me, I don't know, about a week ago, and asked me if I got a birdhouse or plan on building a birdhouse because she needs one.
Well, all I can say is just you guys can start on it. Get your video stuff saved for it.
There's no law that says you can't build a birdhouse for her and a birdhouse for the contest.
Right. As long as you got documentation of you building it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I announce the contest, I'll have certain things that I want you to tag your video with.
Okay.
And
well,
then
it won't be as good as Russell's was last year, but she
don't say that. Everybody's just as good as the next guy. I don't care. What I basically look for is detail.
Yeah.
So
I plan on putting a lot of
The
details.
reason Russell won is because he had bird porn in there.
he had all
That's where all
kinds
the
of
smoke came
detail.
from. That's where the smoke came from.
Yeah, I wonder how'd you get that smoke coming out of your stack there, Russ?
Ancient Chinese secret.
The
I
birds are
can't
getting,
tell you that. I mean, come on.
the birds are getting lucky. That's what it was.
Yeah, you know, because if he gave away all his secrets, he would keep winning, eh?
Exactly. I
Either
plan on
that,
winning again this year.
either that, or he forgot and left his wood burning tool in there and decided to videotape.
I
That's
will.
it, I
I will
guarantee
give
you.
you one word of warning. If you thought that one was good, wait until this year.
Oh, he's talking trash already.
But I'll
Sound like a
as
challenge.
soon as I get caught up, I'll announce it. I should have. I have pretty good sponsors. I mean, I get a lot of prizes. So
Good.
let me have some time to put things out. You know, my father-in-law, he's in the hospital right now.
Yeah, I got a lot
So
of
we don't know if he's going to die or if he's going to get better. They found some blood clots in his lungs, and right now he's got pneumonia. So we don't know if he's going to die or not. If people don't know, he's got cancer, and it's spread all through his body. So we're here just to take care of the house and the dogs, so Mom don't have to go back and forth and do it all.
Well, we'll keep him and your family all in our prayers.
But as soon as everything settles down and things start to be stable, I'll get on it. We'll have it before Christmas.
No, Brian, family first. All right?
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry about
Do what you got to do, brother.
But if any of you guys talk to anybody, you just tell them, say, hey, it's going to happen. He's dealing with his dad.
Yeah.
Family's
Okay.
always first.
Now, back to you again. Now, you say you do a hobby shop. Do you make any money on some of those projects?
Actually, yes, I do. I actually, a while back, I was doing some work outside, had my camera going, and the wind blew my camera over, broke it a couple places. So I put out that I'm looking for a new camera. And me and Mom put our heads together, so why don't you just start selling some of your work so you can get your own money for your camera? Well, that's a pretty easy idea, so that's what I did. I actually started building some picnic tables, some end tables, some benches and stuff like that. And my town has a local internet site on Facebook where we sell everything on there, like a garage sale. And I posted all of my stuff on that, and before you know it, that was all sold, and I had to make more, and that was sold. So it took me no time at all to actually get the money to buy me not only my new camera, but also a pretty nice tripod to go along with it.
That's nice. Cool. Yeah, y'all know Jerry Brown. His uncle was representing Polly Wants a Crafter on what was it, Channel 4 or Channel 5 News, and they did a little segment on him, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, not bad. I like that.
Yeah. Well, anywho, Shannon's in the house. Hey, Shannon, you want to tell people who you are? And our topic for tonight is what's your favorite tool? You want to tell people who your favorite tool is?
And where you from?
Who your favorite tool is, what your favorite tool is.
I'm glad you corrected that because this was about to go to a whole other kind of hangout.
Yeah, I think he was fixing to offend me.
There's a whole slew of tools sitting up here on this panel.
There's way many easy answers on that one. So, my name is Shannon Fargo. You can find stuff, different things I've done. I've got a Facebook and Instagram for Fat Guy in a Little Shop, and my YouTube channel. I think you just look my name up. You'll find videos there that I've done. I need to get back into it. I've had a 6-month hiatus, I guess you could say. So it's about time to get back into stuff. And My favorite tool, I've still got to go with my little plastic aluminum deck 9-inch Delta bandsaw, the little benchtop gutless turd that it can't resaw veneer. So, but no, it has been. I've had that little benchtop saw now since 2007. When I really started getting into doing more crafty type stuff, and it's done more work in this shop than I have. So I've got to give all credit to that little thing. You know, a lot of people will knock their little benchtop tools, and that's what a lot of my stuff is. But that thing has done everything I've ever asked it to. I've broken blades because I never learned to use it the right way. When I first got it, I thought, well, I need to learn how to use this thing. So I actually went to YouTube and typed in something like bandsaw tune-up or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the first video was Mark Spagnolo's big aircraft carrier slab, 75-foot tall bandsaw. And I watched that video and I thought, this is not going to be helpful at all. At all. And if you scale it down, a few things are useful off that video, at least for the benchtop model versus the Powermatic USS Powermatic that he's got. But that thing, I typically, I still do everything wrong. I learned wrong. I learned how to work around wrong. And I'm still wrong. And I admit that. I watched other people do stuff with their bandsaws, and I said, oh my gosh, that's how it's supposed to be done right. But it's too late now. It's too late. The little arm for support of the blade, if I could take it off, I would. I use a metal cutting blade in it, a nice 3/8 metal cutting blade for everything just about. I don't use the thin little... I hate those blades because they leave too rough of a cut. Mm-hmm. That 3/8 metal cutting blade, you almost don't have to sand. And so, but it's not right. It's not the proper. There's a reason the tooth flare out on those blades is so you've got clearance to work with, but that comes at a cost, and that's roughness. Yeah. And so, since I've learned wrong, I stay wrong because it's what I know. And I ain't afraid to admit it. You won't see me do a band. Here's how you make a thing on the bands. I'm not doing a bandsaw box video. You do not need to know how I do that. I don't need anybody looking it up on the internet.
If wrong is working, it's got to be right.
I've been saying that for 20 years of marriage too, so.
Redneck wisdom.
But yeah, so I mean, there's other tools. With having the lathe now for about 6 months, that's a fun one. I can see how that can be addictive, but I've never wanted to be a lathe guy, and so. But it's fun. I turned, and I know I shouldn't show this with Donald on the panel, but I'm gonna show it anyway. I did a little bottle stopper earlier. I took the the little free paint opener you get from the Home Depots and the Lowe's, and just ground the end of it down to where it was just it didn't flare out anymore. Turned a little unfortunately very awkward to show in the internet shape, and it was between two spur ends, so it can't get too fancy. I don't have a chuck, so it in the end looks, before I put the Prince Albert in the end here, it looked like you thought it looked, and so but that's someone's Googling Prince Albert right now, aren't they? Yeah. Sorry about that. But it just I want to try something different, and so it's a bottle stopper out of the bottle opener out of a paint can opener thing.
I want to know how come my name keeps on being popped up on such things. Because if I'm showing it, I can't make the joke. So
I'm giving you the heads up, you know.
So you're the default flame guy.
Oh, sure. Send it to the smart butt redneck. I got you.
You know, the pitch is coming, man. The pitch is coming. Call this shot and just
Take the shot. Yep.
so, yeah.
Hey, Shannon.
Yeah.
Your little toy there. When you stuck that into the end.
Hey! Oh! This is not a tutorial.
That metal inside. Is it just? Did you glue it in or what?
Why did I jump on?
Let's hear how you got the epoxy out.
I have no idea what you ask. I'm sorry. You have to ask it over.
I know I can.
I got the gesture. I got the hand gesture. So
when you
tuck them under. Yeah.
You put the metal piece into the end. Did you glue that in, or is it just in friction, or what?
5-minute epoxy.
5-minute epoxy. Okay.
Yep. I took before while it was still a square blank. I marked my centers, obviously, because you're going to with the little hoodus on the end there for the lathe. And
just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
I don't want to brag, but yeah, it's 5-minute epoxy.
Okay. Now, Shannon,
I'll change the subject now.
And I'll say this,
for a hobby,
it's
or
the
do you
big
make
tube.
money?
I just want to know did she ask you if that's it?
4 kids later, I've heard that so many times.
Shannon, do you do it for a hobby, or do you make money at it?
Good night, folks. Disney Wait staff. We'll be here all week. See, it was probably a normal show till I jumped on. I do apologize.
If it's only for 5 minutes, he's not making a lot of money.
We're going straight downhill.
Bringing them down from the inside. Yes. So the question was, do I make any money off this stuff? Yeah, we do. Denton has a community market. It started as a farmer's market, and they've expanded it to stuff that's handmade. And we go there every Saturday from 9 to 1 and set up. Well, it won't be both of us tomorrow because Mama doesn't do the heat. That's what I get for marrying a California girl. I love her to pieces, but she can't do the heat. So that starts at 9 a.m. And yeah, it I missed something. I might have to go back and watch this later and figure out what I missed.
I'm sorry.
Brian's losing it.
Let's get out of here.
All right, keep up.
That's just the reaction of the epoxy. But yeah,
Sorry.
it depends on the week. It's a rain or shine event. So 1 week it just the clouds, the bottom fell out about 11:45, and you could see it coming in. Just one of those wall of water coming at you, and you saw 100 people scrambling trying to put stuff up and hide things, and so every week's got its ups and downs, and so it's not something you can plan on per se that it's going to be X amount of dollars every week, but I've sold something every week, and so yeah, there's money to be made, but there's a lot of awkwardness of sitting there, and then people come along and pick up your stuff, and I'm working on these little nail bottle openers, and they're all over Pinterest and everything, and 700 different people have done them, but where you get the bent nail in the end with the little magnet and you pop them off, and we'll see how they go tomorrow. It's funny because it's a handmade market, and so there's a couple different types of people that show up. You get people coming in that approach it like a flea market, you know, and try to talk you down. It's like, yeah, no, that cutting board has a couple hours in it. That I don't think that's no, $20 is not going to be my price. And then you've got people that you know, don't care. I've had people walk in and just they knew because they saw it the week before, and they've come back and just walked straight in and bought it, which is a little freaky when it happens, but it's also kind of cool. And then I've had people pick stuff up and go, whatever, and walk away.
Yeah.
But,
so, back to your bandsaw. What is your favorite thing to make with it?
I don't know necessarily that I have a favorite thing. I do a lot of small stuff for my wife. I really what got me past the handyman around the house, you know, fixing doorknobs and cabinet doors and things like that the kids have destroyed over the years, because we have 4, you know, 5-minute epoxy. The thing that got me into it was running my mouth, and she was buying stuff from Hobby Lobby to decorate and do things with, and I mouthed off something about, well, I could probably make it cheaper, much like all those people I lament coming by my booth now. And she said, really? What would you need? Oh, a bandsaw and some sand, you know, different ways to sand stuff. And next thing I know, I found one at a pawn shop and bought it and didn't get in trouble for it.
Cool.
So that's been the key thing so far, is everything I buy, I have to find a reason that it benefits her, and making stuff for her, then it's not a problem. So if you get anything out of this tonight, what's that?
So I totally agree. You gotta be buying it for her, because then she'll let you. If you're doing it for yourself, you're wasting money.
Yeah. You know, and for the most part, that's been true. There's been a couple of little things here and there, but you know, any big purchase, if I can find a way, I can do this for you, babe, on this, you know, like when I got the lathe. Why do you need a lathe? Well, cut-offs from cutting boards. You know, I'll, when I do my glue-ups, I always leave one board sticking out, you know, 3-4 inches on either end, so that snipe doesn't happen in the main body. It happens out on the edges.
Right.
And you know, that's been incredibly beneficial. But when I'm done, I've got a boatload of these little cutoff pieces, which I don't actually have one close by at the moment. But what do you do with them? Well, it seemed perfect that, you know, pens. You've got perfect pen blanks at that point. Some of these bigger pieces, this is about 7 inches, I don't know, maybe 3 inch across, and pretty close to 3/4 stock, maybe a little proud. But you know, yeah, it could have been a couple pen blanks, but I'm going to try these little bottle hooters thingies and see what happens with them.
Okay.
Or, you know, it's a phallic symbol. You never know. But sometimes they become pens. And they haven't sold a lot at market for me, so I've kind of paused on making them. But some of the bigger butcher block style cutting boards and things like that, those extra pieces, there have been some of the bottle stopper stuff I've turned. So,
okay.
You know, just trying to maximize what you can do. But in that, it's something that she can gift to people, and you know, everybody that graduated this year, I didn't know we knew that many people with graduating seniors this year, but everybody got a pen. So there you go, problem solved.
They probably would have preferred a bottle opener.
What's that?
They probably would have preferred a bottle opener.
Well, I figured they're in high school. They probably already got multiple bottle openers. So, and if they're like me, they're buying cans anyway. They don't need one.
Yeah. So when it comes to your woodworking, Shannon, who inspires you or is like a mentor to you?
I was not prepared for this one. I think like everybody. Let me go back. I shouldn't say like everybody. A lot of people credit Ramsey for making them just want to try different stuff, and there's a lot of truth to that. But I grew up with carpenters. I grew up with my grandparents. They owned the cabin out in the woods, literally out in the boondocks, and built it by hand, 6-inch square beams. And you know, you didn't run to the hardware store and buy things. You fixed it. So I know how to twist baling wire over lots of stuff. I know the strategic method of putting duct tape on, and because you had to keep going. You know, when you're in town, maybe you can pick up the part to replace it after you cut the duct tape off. But until then, so you know, Dad and Grandpa's obviously, as far as going crafty, and you know, is that was all 2x4s and circular saws and things like that. Dad never did little project stuff that I'm aware of, and so, you know, but he could, you give him, you know, the challenge. His 2x4 entry would be a whole house. So that's, you know, the kind of skill sets he had, and so it's a little different approach out here, and so going back to the beginning where it was a lot of, you know, watching that first Wood Whisperer video and then getting sucked in. And I think we can all agree on that. We've all found different people that we've started watching the first time and got hooked and watched their entire video library and watched them again. And, you know, going that route, that's where I found Ramsey, was from that first, he did that interview. Oh, my goodness, it's been like 09 or something, 08 or 09, or, but he did the little interview with Mark and asked him about what beer was in his fridge and that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, who is this nut job? And, you know, there's another rabbit hole right there. You watch the chess set. I don't know how many times I've watched him build that chess set and the chess board. And still, there's other videos I'll go back and watch. But it's been an evolution. Since I've been doing a lot of cutting boards, I'll watch the, what is it, MTM Wood. I'll watch you build those cutting boards 2 or 3 times. I mean, it's the same thing over and over. You know, I know what he's going to do next, but I'm going to watch it.
I love it. I like watching it.
I'm like, it's Saturday morning cartoons for me. I mean, if I could prop up in front of the TV and watch them like that, I would do that. Thankfully, we don't have a console TV anymore because I'm too old to lay on the floor and watch TV. I'm too fat, too. I didn't have to sit there kind of rocking. My kids would come along and grab me and spin me or something. But, you know, there's a couple of key people that I'll watch their stuff. And it's been a kind of an evolution, because in doing that, I've come across people that it's like watching paint dry. You know, they do okay stuff. They do better work than I do. But to listen to them talk, I'd assume just smack myself in the crotch and go on. But that's me. So I don't know if there's any, you know, big one person that I'm still in awe of, but everybody's, you know.
Yeah, you got a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on over to Chris.
Oh, me?
Chris? Yeah. Yeah, you want to tell everybody what your favorite tool is?
You know, well, listen, everybody, I was going through my shop, and it was tough to decide because pretty much a good chunk of my tools get involved in almost every project. But I think the same time is when you get a new piece of equipment, you fall immediately in love with it. It's like the new girlfriend. You find projects to use that piece of equipment for. When I got my first bandsaw, I did more beer cups and a couple of bandsaw boxes. To the point I was getting bored with the bandsaw. So, you know, okay, now I'll just give another tool in the shop. But really, honestly, my favorite has got to be my Porta-Cable table saw.
Okay.
It's trusty. Like Shannon said, it's done things that probably wasn't designed to do. So, and it's never thrown anything back at me.
That's good.
And it's never bit me either.
So what kind of projects you make with it?
Well, basically, since we're working on the house, I do a lot of heavy work, cutting pipes or making cabinet doors, framing up for new door frames, things like that. But even my small projects, when I make a Noah's Ark, like I did for the pallet challenge last year, I'm using the same table saw, just change it to a thinner blade.
Yeah.
So it's involved in so many of my projects. It just amazed me while I was trying to go through all my tools, and where am I constantly standing? Behind the table saw. And it turns out that's my favorite. Now, everything gets used, quick cuts, I use the miter saw. I use the band saw. My drum sander gets used a lot. My belt sander gets used a lot. So everything is set up at quick access too. I don't have to pull it out and station it and plug it in. It's already sitting there.
So do you do it for hobby or do you do it to make some money?
I've made a few bucks. My Noah's Ark sets, I've sold a few. But I don't want to start making a living at it yet because then it becomes a job.
Right.
Right now I can go out at my workshop and I can trot around out here for 5 hours and accomplish absolutely nothing. But
And you
I had a
don't
good
feel
time.
bad about it.
Exactly. I've had a good time. You know, I've knocked out a couple of animals for the next Noah's Ark set. But I come out the end of the day, I am as chill as they come. I don't care what's going on in the real world. I don't care what's going on at my job. I just spend the whole afternoon in my shop, you know, and that's pretty much it is right now. Now, am I lining up things for retirement? Yes. I know his Ark set, my beer cups, like a lot of people are interested in. But I'm not going to start selling them yet because I don't want it to become a job. I don't want deadlines.
Okay. So who do you look up to, or as a mentor of yours?
Well, like Shannon said, it's really hard to figure out who that would be. My dad was a contractor in the trade, and I, like him, I wanted to build houses. My problem was who's going to hire a GIMP to build their house? Nobody. So, so I had to put that on the back burner and go another route. My grandfather was a master craftsman in furniture and small woodworking stuff. So I look back at some of the work that my mom still had, my sister still had, that he did, and I've actually analyzed it and almost taken it apart to figure out how did he make that cut? How did he make that joint? So between the two of them, I had a good balance. But a lot of the guys right here on this panel, I've looked at their videos. Jerry Brown's not here. I've thrown Jerry some questions left and right. We've somehow created this community here that I won't say we all look up to each other, but it's a mutual support system here.
Yeah, we all help each other.
And Brian, I got to give you credit. In the beginning, you were one of the first ones I came across, and you had your show then, and I met a lot of these guys that way. So it's just a way to find an answer. I need a quick answer. Who does boxes like this? Oh yeah, Jerry Brown does these. I'll send Jerry a quick email. You know? So it's the community as a whole, I'd say I look up to. Because I'm still learning. I burn more lumber and waste more lumber that winds up in the fire pit than I care to count. So, actually, my burn bag is getting pretty low. I got to go make some mistakes. So, it's the community as a whole.
Yeah, I agree.
A good bunch.
How about
guy?
How about you, Dave?
Well, I wasn't really sure. I really love my lathe. I love my saw stop table saw just because it's so well built. But the current favorite would be my pressure pot where I do my casting. Even though it's a cheap Harbor Freight, the lid gives me fits. You know, I could put a Lumelite in there and get beautiful pin blanks and other blanks out of it. And so that's really fun. So at the moment, my current favorite is my pressure pot where I do my Lumelite casting.
Okay. Now,
quick question.
Do you make money with it, or are you going to be doing it for a hobby?
What was you saying, Russell?
I just got a real quick question, and the reason I'm interested in this because I've been thinking about buying one of those pressure pots from Harbor Freight. Can you elaborate a little bit on the problems with it getting the seal?
It's a known problem on those pressure pots. Actually, I bought mine used from a guy off a pin turning forum, and when I first got it, I had no issues with it. You tighten the lid down, and it no leaks, no issues at all. And then one day I was taking the lid off, and the gaskets are not actually glued in there; they're kind of a friction fit. Well, part of it started to fall out, so I just grabbed it. I was going to take the whole thing out, and like half of it just tore apart on me. So I had to get new gaskets from Harbor Freight, and when I got those two, the one I put, they said you gotta buy a 2-pack, and the one I put in there, I just couldn't get it to seal up right. But I eventually got it. I put a little bit of silicone adhesive underneath, glued it in, and a little bit of silicone grease on the bottom, and I think it's starting to get broke in. I got to tighten it, over tighten the clamps just a little bit, but I got it back working now. It's just it's not a super well made pressure pot. That's the only thing, but they're cheap enough. I mean, they do the job. A ton of people use them. And your next option up is to spend about like $300 or so to get one.
Yeah, CA Technologies, I believe, is the one Zach upgraded to. Zach Higgins. Yep. Y'all probably obviously know his name. He also said a mistake a lot of people make when they're doing the lids of the Harbor Freight ones is they go in a circle, but you're supposed to tighten it like you would opposite sides. So sometimes
lug nuts on a car.
Yeah. So I hope very much look forward to casting if I can ever afford the craft.
So back, Brian, to answer your question, the making money on the castings, not yet, but I'm actually about to. I'm finishing up. I've got I think about 60 blanks made right now, and what I'm going to do is do like my kind of a first time deal. I'm going to sell a few individual, but I'm going to sell like a value box. I'm going to try to put maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10. It depends on how much, how many batches I have left of my Alumilite, and do like some, small flat rate boxes full of Alumilite blanks and sell those for a good price to kind of start getting my blanks out there and not really to make a lot of money, just to kind of help pay for me to be able to buy some more Alumilite and keep doing this.
So you do it for pins?
Yeah, pins. I've got some other things in mind. I'm going to do some like as accent and bowl blanks, and also some duck call blanks and bottle stopper blanks.
That sounds good. Now, let's see. Who do you look up to as far as, say, casting?
Well, the number one obviously is Zach, NV Woodworks. Dude's really sharp. You can tell he knows his stuff on casting, and for me, he made casting super simple. Like, a lot of people look at it, and I mean, there's still a ton of questions, but I watched, I feel like a fanboy. I've watched all of his videos at least 3 or 4 times, just going over, and some of them, multiple times, just like the one the other day on fixing the gasket and just different things. He even saved me yesterday my part B on my Alumilite thickened up. So it showed, he's got a video about how to heat it up and to get it to mix right. So definitely Zach. There's another guy on YouTube, but I can't remember his name. Turning Round, he does some casting, but there's another guy that he's cast a bunch of different things, but his YouTube channel is not his name. It's some weird combination of letters and numbers. So, but Zach most of all, and I talked to Zach even, I through Twitter, Instagram, talked to him quite a bit, and he's always been real helpful for me.
Okay. Next is Donald. Donald, what's your favorite tool, man?
I'm my favorite tool.
Okay, do you make money at it?
Nope.
What do you make?
On it though. No, my favorite tool right now it's a loaner tool, so I'm eventually going to have to give it up. But it's the Shopsmith, and I don't know if that qualifies as a tool because it's really 5 tools, 6, maybe 6.
Table saw, bandsaw, lathe.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of that?
At the moment, it's the lathe because I've just got an independent. Well, I've got an independent turn, and it's.
I used to enjoy pins.
Like pins, but dang it, Donald, you post them on every 5 minutes.
Are you sure that's Donald? There's not a black background. You sure that's Donald?
I know, he's in the light, man.
I've come to the light side.
He come to my show all fancy.
He's an imposter.
No, yeah, it is my evil twin.
So the lathe is your favorite tool?
At the moment. Overall, I like the Dremel tool because it fills in everywhere. That's something I use every day. But here lately, as far as a tool I use all the time and really am enjoying, it would be the lathe and the pin turning and all that.
Okay. So do you what do you make besides? What do you make mainly
on the lathe? So I'm still learning it. I mean, you know this. I'm still learning it. So it's been pin, that funky thing I made for Shane's Mama's Day present thing, and a couple of seam rippers, and it's handles for my tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My files and such tools.
And do you do it for money? Or do you do it for a hobby?
Depends. I sell them. That gives me a little bit of extra side cash and all that. Seam rippers will eventually probably do that. I'm in it for both the hobby, the love of it, and if I can make a few extra dollars, hey, I got to buy supplies.
Yeah. So when it comes to pins and all that, who's your mentor? The person you go to about it?
Well, actually, for some things would be you. Other things I like, I go to RJB Woodturners a lot. And for like anything to do with outside of the lathe, I cannot remember the man's name now. The wood turner.
Carl Jacobson?
Carl Jacobson, that's what I was thinking about. I'm sorry, I'm having a problem with people's names today.
It's all right.
The heat. It's the heat.
We got your back, brother.
But, I mean, he just does some amazing stuff, and he actually sits down and really tries to explain what he's done and doing on his. Same with RJB Woodturners and stuff, so.
Yeah.
And you're my buddy. I catch you on Facebook if I got a question. So.
Yep.
I know it's not my turn, but I love the personality of Captain.
Actually, it is your turn. So, Charles, what's your name? What do you do? Where they can find you? What's your favorite tool?
I forgot my name. No, I'm Charles Deering. Believe it or not, my favorite tool right now is the lathe. It was the scroll saw, but the lathe I'm having fun with. And where can they find me? Probably in jail. I'm just kidding. I'm in Gatesville, Texas, halfway between Dallas and Austin. And I don't remember what else you asked me, sir.
No, on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Charles Deering.
I go by Charles Deering Scroll, and I've done probably about 100 pins, but I've been working on bowls and vases and crap here lately.
Yeah, well, some of that crap I like.
Thank you. May I show them, sir?
No, you've done actually 200 pins, because those are obviously not the same pins sitting side by side. Obviously not.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke for people that don't know it. So I'd show one.
I beg to differ. He's probably done 300 because he's.
I posted, for the folks watching that don't know the story, I posted a pin from 2 angles so they could see both sides. And
one person was like,
I posted it on
that's not the same pin.
I posted it on a selling page saying same pin, 2 angles, and ladies, somebody took the time to comment, that's not the same pin, there's differences. Well, no crap, woman. Read the caption anyway. If I can real quickly go through the bowls I've done, I'd appreciate it. I mean, I won't take a lot of time. This one is elm and zebrawood.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm trying to experiment. Oh, by the way, if you ever want to hack up a blank and try to glue in a cross section, don't do that. I blew up 2 of them and knocked the plastic out of my face shield. That's how hard it came off. This one just, because I got used to doing bowls on a scroll saw. If you don't know how to do that, I have a video for that on Charles Deering Scroll. But anyway, so I just got a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aromatic cedar boards, and I just made them into a cylinder and turned that.
Hey Charles, can you hold that other one up that you said came apart now? What? Explain that.
Well, this is a bad example because this is glued up like crap. But I wanted to do like you would do an X on a pen blank, and I did it in a bowl blank. And
Look like something Donald done.
it came apart in the seams. I didn't try this one because the other two blew up, and I got tired of ducking. But
I've still been too scared to turn the bowl, so he's doing better than me.
I love turning the bowl because I want to see different sizes or types I can come up with. The rest of these are going to be hackberry, but that's one with a little bitty lip.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's not get back into sizes anymore.
I like hackberry's awesome looking stuff.
I love hackberry. That's another hack.
Charles, was it glue seams that blew out?
Ooh, that's nice.
Glue and epoxy. I don't know. This one's not been done being hollowed out yet, but that's one of my favorite ones. I like bigger.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Beautiful.
Now, what kind of wood did you say that was?
Hackberry. All one word.
What the hell is hackberry? I've never heard of it.
It's definitely a lot of it in Texas, but from what I hear, it's hard to find hackberry that's got any circumference to it. So I got lucky. I got this from a guy off of eBay. Free plug for him. His website is, ozarkswoodandmore.com. Now, this looks nice and dandy, and I love the shape of it. But I found out the hard way. If you touch that rim when you're trying to hollow it out, boom.
Oh!
But to me, it had kind of a modern look, so I kept it anyway, you know. But yeah, that one sent me ducking too.
Okay, what are you using as a hollow out tool?
Carbide, round, and the curved hollowing thing.
Yeah, it looks like a J on the end.
Yeah, but they have 3 different angles. I couldn't afford them all, so I just got the sharpest angle. I only have 2 more, and I'll leave y'all alone. This one is walnut crotch, but I inlaid calcite, which is another thing a lot of people haven't heard of. It's basically like quartz, but it's it's big time in Texas. If you break it into pieces, it'll be rectangular shards that are basically transparent. And that was my first time with that. Somebody said, well, that's why all your tools are dull. You're turning rocks. No, you use a grinding wheel to turn that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last one. I just wanted to try a unique shape.
Yeah. Look at that spalding on that. That's cool.
I love that too. Oh, by the way, Michael Roper, I just caught a video of him. I wanted to try multi-axis turning. So I don't know how well you can see this, but it's got a twist to it.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But I got a ways to go on that. But anyway, sorry for taking up so much time. But right now the lathe is definitely my favorite tool.
Okay, so do you plan on making money, or you just do that for a hobby?
Honestly, I'm not dogging myself. I don't know if my stuff's good enough to sell it yet.
Okay.
If people think it's worth buying, then I'll sell it. But
so the lathe is your favorite tool right now. So who's your go-to guy or
trader,
mentor?
The one I went to the most in the beginning was RJB Woodturner because I was, I had always associated him with pins, and that's what got me started doing the herringbone design. And who else? Cat Meddy. I love his personality. It seems like he'd be cool to hang out with. I believe he lives in Louisiana, and he teaches a lot when he turns. Seen some Carl Jacobson, and I can't really pick one because the one who I went to, at least visually, I never really talked to him that much, was RJB Woodturner, but I'm discovering more and more turners I'm following.
Let's see, John Schaffner is saying, loving the hackberry, Charles.
Thank you. I hacked it myself.
Wooden stuff with Steve French. He goes, Charles has been a busy man. And Patrick at Patrick's Workshop says, Charles, you're becoming a pretty good turner.
My God. That's the sweetest thing he's ever said to me.
He meant Tina Turner.
Well, you know what I think is amazing about it is you stepped out of your genre, so to speak, from the scroll saw,
Comfort zone, yeah.
and started turning. And I would just like to say that same thing is I look at some of your pins and then the bowls that you're turning. My friend, you have a lot of talent.
Thank you. I mean,
I agree.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
For you to step out from the scroll saw to lathe and do what you're doing right now, that's awesome.
I'd like
Yeah,
to get
man.
to where I could. I appreciate that, everybody. I wish I could actually build stuff. I mean, I unless I got plans to go by, I can't build nothing.
And Dan Eaglewood, he goes, "Welcome back, Brian." So thanks, Dan.
And Anger Brett.
Well, that's pretty much all we got for tonight's show. I would like to do some demonstration next week. Who on the panel would like to volunteer?
My technology won't let me.
I can demonstrate how I can bring back the floating head.
How about you get on that lathe, Donald, next week?
I got no internet out there. I can't do it. And power in the house will not allow me to drag that. The power in my gut wouldn't allow me to drag that shopsmith in here.
Well, here's an idea. Here's an idea, Brian. I think it was on your show. One of us, we recorded a video of us doing something, and we muted it and just narrated it live while it was saying what we were doing. I mean, that's the thought. Whatever.
Does anybody really want to see me turn another pin?
I tell you what, I'll pick on Chris.
Chris?
I'm out of Dodge. I will not be in Dodge. I will be lakeside by the campfire with a cold beverage.
Man, you want to hear a bunch of guys whine?
Hey,
or at the local pub.
I think maybe Russ's safety orange might be running mud in. Hey, watch him learning.
You think it'd be ready?
Oh, it'll be ready.
I know it'll be ready by then, but my point is, you just don't want to sit there and watch that stupid thing cut.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Hey, Brian.
We like looking at real CNCs, boy.
Hey, Brian. You want somebody to highlight next week, Brian? Why don't you highlight yourself?
Yeah.
Nah, you don't want to see me work.
You know, a Charleston got a bad idea if you get someone to record something and present it, live and talk over it.
Okay, well, Donald, I'm picking on you, brother.
Donald, I actually like the shape of your pens. I haven't tried doing I guess you call it the teardrop.
Yeah.
It's either you or Russ Meadows, so.
I can record myself turning a pin.
Okay, and then we'll ask you a bunch of questions. So better do something eccentric.
Eccentric.
So Donald, you're
He's gonna have to look up the word eccentric.
I said,
Is that in the Redneck Dictionary?
I tell you what, I have never done a Celtic knot. You've done one before.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've done a semi-Celtic knot.
I tell them
You got all week, brother.
let me start you boys off on the right note. It's a Celtic knot.
Celtic. It's Celtic.
Yeah, it's not.
I used to say Celtic, and then people say, no, it's Celtic.
I thought it was Celtic at first too, and everybody around here says Celtic. Celtic.
You're in the Carolinas. I'm in Boston. Who are you going to believe?
That's probably a redneck thing. The Celtics were a basketball team.
It's either a Celtic or a Celtic, but you're making it.
What Donald does is called Chelsea snot.
So, for the
There's a story behind that, actually. No, I'm just...
So for the viewers, if you want to see a redneck make a Celtic knot, stay tuned for next week's show. That's all we got for tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you guys on the panel for being here. And I want to especially thank you guys that's watching this circus. And I welcome you next week to watch. Thanks a lot.
Just give me sawdust.
No!
Lots of sawdust.
Oh, no.
Not your show. Not your